I was very lucky about 15 years ago to have a conversation with someone who was very significant in the opera world. He wrote 2 very famous Broadway plays about Maria Callas. He was a frequent guest on the Metropolitan Opera Quiz in the afternoon of the broadcast, which is a big deal. And he was a critic. He said, who had the most beautiful voice you had ever heard? He said, Montserrat Caballe. She is the subject of our speech today. She was a remarkable singer who sang over 3,800 roles. She sang 3,800 performances in 88 roles. That's still quite a lot. And was renowned all over the world. Today I will be telling you about the beginnings of her career, which is very interesting. Her amazing breakout into fame, and her collaboration with a rock singer. She was from a very wealthy family that had fallen upon very hard times in Barcelona. And when she was young, they moved around a lot and didn't really know where the next meal was going to come from a lot of times. But it was obvious she was a very talented singer. And when she got to be a teenage, she wanted to enroll in the Liceu, which was the lead music school in Barcelona and one of the leading ones in the world, but they didn't have the money. So she auditioned for the wealthiest family there. And they were blown away with her, and they paid for all of her education on the condition that if she became famous, she had to come back and sing for them once a year. It was very interesting. She was 16 years old, and what would you do if you were an opera singer and you went to school? You want to start singing opera? No. Her teacher made her do only scales, going up and down the scale, and exercises to strengthen the diaphragm. And she called it breathing calisthenics. Her teacher was not only an opera singer, but had been an Olympic gymnast. And so she learned at the feet of this teacher techniques that she would do every morning for the next length of her career. 45 minutes every morning she did these breathing exercises. Well, what is the outcome of this? On a good day, she can take in air and breathe out a steady flow of air for a minute and 45 seconds. And for a really, really good day, she can do it for 2 minutes. And the upshot of this is when Caballe is singing, she doesn't appear to breathe. You don't even notice her breathing, and she can just take a line forever. It's one of these amazing techniques. When she started out, she got careers in small, medium-sized German towns. Like my sister sang in one. They had them all over Germany. Cities like Tacoma would have a major opera house, and she was in places like that. And for like 10 years, just singing normal repertoire, and wasn't really, carving out a great career or anything. And then something remarkable happened. There's a singer I'm going to be talking about named Marilyn Horne, who's one of the greatest vocalists of any century. And she had just come on the stage, and she was to sing a very difficult opera at Carnegie Hall. It has a lot of runs and trills. There were only maybe 4 people in the world that could sing this, and none of them were available because Montserrat suddenly was in the 7th month of her pregnancy and started having trouble. So who do they ask? And somebody suggested this Montserrat Caballe that they had worked with. Well, Caballe had never sung this type of repertoire at all. It would be like a sprinter suddenly doing calisthenics or gymnastics. And the performance was only 2 weeks away. And she was debuting in another, like 2.5 weeks, at another major opera house. She had to learn a role. So, learning 2 roles at once. But she said, I can do it. And they asked her about it, and they got upset when she had asked for a tutor for another role when she was in New York, while she was going to be singing this role. She says, I'm contracted, I can do both. So they got to the performance, and people were really PO'd that Marilyn Horne was not there. Many of his tickets had been returned, but word had spread to the important people in the record industry and the opera houses, that something extraordinary was going to happen. Well, she came out, she even tripped on her entrance, but that's kind of got everybody's eye on her. And this was not an opera, this was an opera that was just done as a concert. And she started singing this first aria. And all of a sudden you could see everybody just going, my God, what are we hearing? And this was in an era when Joan Sutherland and Maria Callas and Marilyn Horne were singing, so they knew really great singers. So to be blown away, she got to this first, the thing that Caballe can do so well, because of her breathing, she can take a note up high and reduce it to the sound of a pinprick, just a little candle. And she can make this small sound carry so much that you can hear it heard over a large orchestra and chorus singing all at the same time. Such is her skill. Well, they were completely blown away. And after this Carnegie Hall performance, well, after the intermission, they had called up all of the people that they know. This is, you get your BUTTS here. You've got to. So they got all of the big people from the record industry and opera house there. After that one performance, she was signed with the Metropolitan Opera, and she had a 5-record deal. Montserrat was on the map. Now, at this point, I'm going to show you what her singing is like. The first excerpt is when she's young and very pretty, and you will be able to see some of her fire. It's very short. This is the concert just after her Carnegie Hall thing. And this next thing is very extraordinary. She will go up and she will hit a high note at a very subdued volume, but great intensity. And then she will expand it to just fill the whole opera house. And she does it in such a way that Caballe could get audiences to go crazy. After her first aria at that Carnegie Hall performance, 5 minutes in the middle of an opera, that never happens. That's more than you get at the end. And it was a 20-minute ovation at the end of the opera. Well, you'll hear the audience. I left a little bit of the audience response. They go crazy. And I'm going to play it twice so you can hear it, because it's pretty astonishing. Audiences went berserk with Caballe. Now listen to this again. could hit like all the way to the very top of her voice, just total little pinprick of sound and fill the whole house. It would blow people away. Very few people can do this. Now, the next big thing of the speech is her collaboration with Freddie Mercury. How many of you know about that? Well, he was with Queen, and he was starting a solo career, and he was asked after a concert in Barcelona what his favorite in Spain was. He says Montserrat Caballe. Well, this made it to the papers, and it got back to her. And, you know, this sort of stuff going back and forth that they were fans. And he was invited to do the opening of the Olympics, and he wanted to do a performance with her. And he wrote to her, and they were really busy because, you know, I told you her schedule, she was very busy, but they decided to meet in London.
It was like a distant show, like a window open to the world.
So sorry. I'm long-winded. So, she sang a song that he had written for her at this recital in London, which blew him away. And they talked, and they got together, and they loved each other. And they sat up all night singing and, you know, doing musical riffs and all this sort of stuff. And this is from one of their preview performances at a nightclub in Ibiza. This opera singer. Oh my God, she was hot. And this really blew people away. And the song Barcelona went to #7 in England and #1 in Spain. And she became a worldwide figure. So this is her talking about her collaboration with Freddie Mercury.
Young people come today to the opera. They always say, we wanted so much to find out who is the woman that screams so much with Freddie. I have many proposals, many times, to do it again. Something with other colleagues and things. But, you know, has to be something very special that follows Freddie and me together. Very special.
Isn't that fun?
Wonderful.
It was actually the last performances that he ever did on stage, and he died of AIDS very shortly afterward, and she was one of the people who sang at his funeral. I think it's a fascinating story. It's a woman with an amazing voice, and I think she sort of transcends the world of opera in a way that some of you may sort of grab onto and find it interesting. So thank you very much.